Field under the control of Joshua Rutherford and Dakota DeMade. We're underway.
Lots of 2x2, 3 wide near the middle of the pack right now. That's going to get sorted out.
Watson with quick moves to try and make the outside line work here. Started in 4th, pulled to the bottom, now is pulled to the top, now back to the bottom. Looking for a run on Rutherford.
Rutherford has James Watson, a great oval racer, especially in this vehicle right behind him. He's going to be giving him the good pushes, and yes, I'm saying pushes because they will be pushing each other even though it's an open-wheel car. It is possible, and it will be happening, but you got to be very careful. Whoa! Somebody disconnected! That's Sean Bagley!
Bagley? I mean, we'll throw the caution for that because he was sliding back up to traffic, but holy cow. Oh my God.
And I'm thinking maybe a monitor disconnect because he has the wheel turned left and the wheel just stays. Yeah, there's certainly some sort of hardware issue for sure.
They're all coming.
Yep, there's a whole group.
Watson way out wide in the big walk-up of the tires there.
And here comes everybody else. Oh my. Lots of locking up going on here.
Everybody does a nice job keeping it straight. 3 wide drivers going to have to get that sorted out. No black flags.
That's incredible. That was a gigantic group.
So Wright was watching. Wright is up top, making it work all by himself thus far. Watson getting a bit bottled up here. I think clipped the apron. Either that or is playing some fuel or team strategy here. Has let Drew White go ahead of him.
I think it certainly has to do with fuel save. We saw DeMade had to come in 2 or 3 laps ahead of everybody else. And I believe that's because he was out front pretty much that entire run after the caution had come out.
Oh, we are wrecking now. Caution is out.
Oh my, that's Cody Claiborne tumbling and on his lid down into the grass. Looked like that's Matt Schlosser that had some damage as well, trying to push hard. Oh, that's Gavin Sanders trying to push Schlosser hard down the backstretch and just barely hooks that little notch right in the middle of the rear of the car. See Cody Claiborne there, went for a tumble. You can see just barely gets off to the right side. I mean, just by inches.
He waited until the sim threw it. That is going to keep most of the field in check here, I would imagine. Here's Matt Wagner looking up top. He gets help from the team boss. Isidro with a huge run. He'll have help from Muscarella. Nate Siefker's in the mix, so is Hunter Engrave. Wright and Smock together as well. A lot of team dynamics at the front here. And the lone wolf, Nicholas Isidro. We're going to make it back.
Another group starting to come to the front pack as well.
This is it, white flag. This is the run to the checkers. Huge run for Kresge on the outside. He's got nowhere to go, though. He tucks into line. Drew White on the bottom, Matt Wagner in the middle, Nicholas Isidro on the top.
Wow, lots of diving and dodging and trying to push. We're 4 wide now.
Oh, big contact!
Oh, there goes Drew White.
Drew White with big help there. Wagner down to the bottom. Watson in the middle. Isidro still on the top. He's going to have the momentum here out of the final turn and into the tri-oval. The wrecking continues in the back. Contact Muscarella into the wall. 3 wide. Siefker up the middle. 4 wide. Contact. It's going to be finally, I think, Matt Wagner to the line to win it. Matt Wagner takes Talladega. 64 one-thousandths of a second. Matt Wagner, 2 runner-up finishes to his credit in his Daredevil Series career, and it's finally time for Matt Wagner to finish on the top step tonight. Long-awaited victory burnouts here.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon deep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
An empty plastic bottle would give you 50 cents. A soda can, 60 cents. A used food container, 80. Wondering why I know this? Because that's my job. I am a trash picker at my school.
Harry, the trash prince is on a roll today. And how is your trashy affair with Bella coming? She lets you kiss her with that stink?
Their words don't bother me. They don't know why I do what I do. And my secret. I edge close to my class when I hear Bella and her friend talking.
You can't be serious, Bella. You want me to break up with him for you?
I would do it myself if his poverty didn't give me the creeps.
You are unbelievable.
I come face to face with Bella's friend. She knew I heard the conversation and couldn't meet my eyes. She hands me the new phone I bought for Bella and walks away. I saved for months to buy her this phone. I walk down the empty corridor with a heavy heart, pick the phone out of the box, slip my SIM in, and switch it on. When... Harry Parker, you have passed the poverty test? You are now the heir to Parker family's billions worth of assets?
If Harry is a billionaire, why does he work as a trash picker? What is his big secret? Why did he not reveal his billionaire status to Bella? To know more, listen to the audio series Destiny Reloaded, only on Pocket FM.
Presentation.
This is the Daredevil series from Bristol Motor Speedway, only on Turn 200.
Welcome in, one and all, to the spectacle that is sure to unfold before our very eyes here tonight. Round number 7 of the 4th season of the Daredevil series. And we have opened the doors for the Gladiators to do combat tonight at the last great Coliseum. It's time for the Daredevils at Bristol Motor Speedway. Oh, Lord. This is one that everybody's been dreading or looking forward to, but more than likely dreading, myself included. But Matt Williamson, how do you feel about the whole affair here tonight?
I don't know if I'm dreading it. I mean, I'm quite excited, but I think the drivers are in for an interesting task, to say the least. They're gonna have to have a lot of patience tonight. That's kind of the name of the game. We've asked them to put practice in pure Daredevil fashion. I'm sure half the field has not put any practice in until tonight. These heat races are going to be a telling sign.
And that is just it. It is an alternate format again here tonight. Heat races, 4 heats. Top 4 from each will advance. That's a 16-car field for the main event, but we'll have a B main to take 4 more. We've got 24 here tonight for 20 spots in the feature. Going to be an interesting time here tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. We're coming down the stretch here, Matt. I think you and I both kind of realized how deep we were in the season when we got to this session tonight. Only 3 more races after tonight, and the points are looking interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, you kind of hit it on the head there. I said, are we really in round 7 here? And you said, yes, we are. And after round 6, Bruno Miranda is the points leader, has 3,860 points. James Watson sits there in second. He's going to have to have a pretty good finish. Bruno's going to have to finish lower down on the board if James wants to overtake that lead here tonight. Matt Wagner, the other driver that could potentially take over the lead, but very unlikely. Hunter Engrave and Nicholas Isidro are going to round out the top 5. Ross Harlow, Alex Muscarella, Brody Gunter, Matt Schlosser, and Caleb Smock are rounding out your top 10. But we've noted with this points, the way the points are given out after a race, you win 1 race or 2 races, it propels you pretty far up the leaderboard. So, anybody in this top 10 still has a pretty good shot.
We've had 6 races this season and 6 different winners. It has been an unpredictable season, even with great consistent runs, as usual, from James Watson and Bruno Miranda, who has kindly run the entire season with us thus far and is doing a nice job on the points leaderboard. We just had a 25th car join. Really, we got 26 registered, but Kyle Zittel was just here turning some laps. He thought better of it. He is done for the night. So the 25th car just entered, and it's Nate Siefker back for another go-around after his season debut last week. Ended with him flying across the finish line at Talladega. Got about 10 seconds left until we hit the starting grid for heat race number 1. Shout out to Goodleaf Archives. Hopefully we're more excited than watching potatoes grow, but you do you in Idaho. Yes, Mullet Music Productions, the author of the great theme tune that we have here for the Daredevil series. I believe Without My Soul dropping tonight at midnight. So be sure to give Mullet Music Productions original music a spin here tonight. Find Joshua's music on multiple platforms. And the 4-time and defending series champion Nathan Reynolds hanging out with us in the chat. And Nate Siefker, 0 laps of practice. Let's see how this goes. Yes, indeed. It is about time to find out here. Gridding for heat race number 1. 9 cars. Top 4 will make it directly to the main event. Hunter Engrave with the top time here in 11:9:09 for him. Bruno Miranda will start on the outside of the front row. James Watson and Dakota DeMade on row number 2. Paul Ellison and Nicholas Isidro on row 3. Ryan Dye and Jeff Oakes on row 4. I guess Kyle Zittel not actually here, so he will not be gridding for heat race number 1. Matt, some track conditions. I've kind of already laid everything else out, but I don't know. Anything else on your mind here as we get ready to roll?
I'm just interested. It's one thing to practice by yourself. It's another thing to actually go out here and race. You can run a line and be able to run it fairly comfortably, but can you run side by side potentially with somebody else either underneath or above you? That is going to be a big question mark here tonight. 81 degrees on the track temperature, so pretty cool. Should benefit these drivers here tonight. Gosh, I really don't know what else to say other than we will see, because this is very much an unknown here.
All right, had to go full mute there to talk to the drivers for just a second. Yes, so we will have cautions. If we have a caution-worthy incident and caution laps all night tonight in the heat, consi, and the feature, they count. I don't know if you already said that or not, but that's an important thing to note because something tells me we're going to be seeing a lot of the pace truck tonight. Just a guess.
Yeah, probably pretty likely. I don't know. Maybe here in the heat races with a small group of drivers, we really won't see it throughout the heat races potentially. Everybody maybe giving each other some room, not fighting for points yet, just kind of trying to feel this track out and how it races with others around you. But yeah, I think probably when we get to that feature and they start really going hard, it's going to get dicey for sure.
So this all kind of came about after we ran 3 editions of the Bristol Bash when we were bored early last year, around the same time actually. The Lotus 79s were in 2 of those 3 bashes and thought, well, the setup that we put on was from Richmond and it kind of works, so why don't we make it actually work and think about putting it in Daredevil? And then heard through the grapevine that somebody with a champion's choice may have ended up putting Bristol on the schedule if we didn't. So it was going to be here no matter what. Now we're going to see how much everybody is going to come to rue the day that we decided to put Daredevil or Bristol on the Daredevil schedule. Pace truck is about to hang left. Field under the control of Hunter Engrave. 100 bonus points to the winner of each heat race tonight as well. Nothing to sneeze at coming down the stretch. We're underway. Engrave with the early lead. James Watson rocking number 43 tonight, honoring his dad with a special paint scheme and car number. Watson in second. Miranda defending on DeMade. Here goes Dakota underneath, looking for third.
And Dakota had a nice big run out of the exit of the corner on the top side and able to take that spot. Isidro getting around Miranda here as well. Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Nearly contact between those two.
Jump in the nose there, and remember, this puts Miranda out of the transfer. Top 4 make it. Miranda, P5.
Is a consi race, so Miranda will have an opportunity to get in the feature if he doesn't get that position, but you really don't want to have to go through that consolation race.
And there will be points paid out to the drivers who showed up tonight but don't qualify for the feature, but Miranda does not want to be banking on that when he's got 2 drivers within a race of him for the championship lead.
Out front, Hunter Engrave is 1.2 seconds in front of the field already.
Engrave with some pretty sporty laps up front. Watson in second, DeMade in third, Isidro in fourth. No challenges for them. Miranda trying to close in here, but the opportunities are dwindling. We're coming to 3 to go at the stripe.
Here's an onboard shot with Bruno. Get a nice slick. Nice job with the setup, by the way. I don't know if you had help with this one, but this is looking pretty rock solid here so far tonight.
Well, I think the key, even with the sun going down, 30 to 35 laps is when this starts to get a little bit loose, and you'll have to adjust your driving style. But we're not going to touch that here for probably another hour or so. White flag is out for Hunter Engrave, uncontested. 2 more corners to bring it home for him. Miranda not able to get on his horse. He will have to work his way out of the consi, but it's Engrave, Watson, DeMade, and Isidro to the feature in heat race number 1. And a couple of bonus points for Hunter Engrave here. Going to be handy down the stretch for him. All right, time for the grid for heat race number 2. And this is always the reminder of sometimes SDK Gaming, for whatever reason, doesn't like the heat racing format. So our graphics could possibly get screwed up here. Matt, you'll just have to let me know if they do.
I certainly will.
Okay. All right, so it's your new...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm going to try to reset everything. I've taken it off the screen. Hopefully we can somehow make it work, but no promises.
Okay. Alex Muscarella, the New Hampshire winner and one of the top newcomer contenders in the points, leading the way here for heat race number 2. Brian Deese going to start days outside. Podium finisher from Talladega last week. What a switch up it is from the big 2.6-mile track to the half-mile high-banked super short track, I guess. I don't know. Christopher Kresge get us started 3rd. Joshua Rutherford going to be in 4th. Victor Aldrich and Drew White, the first 2 drivers on the outside and looking in. Then it's Darrell Klotz and the aforementioned Nate Siefker with no practice.
Yeah, Siefker's going to have his work cut out for him here probably.
Not just in learning the car, but also making passes. We did see a couple of passes through the field. Paul Ellison was able to make a pass. And, of course, Miranda lost a couple of positions throughout the race. But, yeah, I think passing going to happen a little bit more once the tires come up to temperature. Then it's a problem of not putting too much temperature in the tires while you're trying to make passes.
Yeah, good to see. I mean, just in a short 10-lap run, good to see some passes being made, though. Wasn't sure how that was going to play out. You see these drivers on track right now really wanting to get some heat in the tires, think that they need to pounce as soon as they can as that green flag drops. And that's what we saw in that last heat race as well. So everybody trying to do their job to get their cars and equipment up to speed here.
Alrighty, here we go. Muscarella and Deese on the front row. It's Brian Deese's birthday yesterday. He says he wants to win the heat race tonight for a little present for himself. 3 wide, that's Rutherford on the top side. Joshua stuck up top. And going to lose the spot to Aldrich, who moves himself, or rather to Drew White, who's going to move himself. Oh, boy.
Hard into the wall for Rutherford as well. Hopefully he'll be able to keep it going straight. Meanwhile, Brian Deese is really trying to get around Muscarella.
Oh, almost some contact. Kresge trying to hold it down behind them. Hotly contested battle here for 3rd and for the top spot. Deese on the outside. Muscarella keeping it on the bottom. Deese will take it.
Deese absolutely railed turns 1 and 2 there.
Drew White under fire from Joshua Rutherford. White able to get away. This is lap number 4, coming to 5. But how about Brian Deese?
Deese put it in the middle of the track and said, "See you later."
Here's White to the outside, trying to put the Patriarch on the bottom. Kresge now on the bubble. Rutherford not too far behind.
Muscarella is out.
I was going to say, Muscarella lagged out here, so now it's not the battle for the bubble anymore. So White to 2nd, Kresge to 3rd, Rutherford to 4th. Darrell Klotz is now the next one in line.
Oh, Siefker with a huge run on Klotz, nearly piled into him.
2.5 to go. It's all Brian Deese up front. 2 seconds back and up.
Contact
There.
How did they keep going straight? That was unbelievable.
Oh, Rutherford and Kresge with contact as well. Rutherford boxed in on the top side. He will put Kresge back to the bubble now. White flag.
And Siefker has a huge head of steam trying to get this final spot.
Kresge may have some damage. He'll have Siefker to work with here. It's Brian Deese to the checkers. Siefker looking for the move at the line. He got it! Siefker got it! Siefker by 2 1,000s at the stripe.
Wow, what? That was
What a
unbelievable. What a drive from Siefker. It took about 4 laps to figure the car out and how it comes off the banking, and then after that, he set sail and got up to a transfer spot.
I can't believe he didn't rip his left rear tire off there with contact with Darrell Klotz. Regardless, here's the starting grid now for heat race number 3. Good luck topping that one, fellas. Brady Gunter and Ross Harlow, the newcomers on row number 1. Matt Wagner, last week's winner at Talladega, starting 3rd. Derek Wright finished 2nd in that race. He starts 4th tonight. Matt Schlosser and Corey Rutherford now on row number 3. Cody Claiborne and... Is Neil Lusher actually here, or is he just registered for the session? I think he's just registered. And good intel there in the chat from Joshua. It's crazy in traffic. Looks crazy.
That one was wild, that last one.
Wowee. What a move by Siefker. Couple of crazy moves there in the final 2 laps for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a miracle that he was even able to continue. I mean, his entire left side of his car was up in the air just about a lap and a half before he made that pass to get to the transfer spot into the main.
So already some big names that are potentially looking at the feature from the outside tonight. Muscarella with work to do. Bruno Miranda with work to do. Christopher Kresge now as well. Paul Ellison, Ryan Dye. I mean, there's a spin in the back there.
And that was Corey. I don't know what happened there.
Well, it can get a little bit light on you sometimes. We're going to extend the yellow here by a lap, let Corey get his place back. Don't think he hit anything, so that's good. Or anybody, more importantly. I think that's he's the second Rutherford to spin on a warm-up lap, I think, this season.
He was just trying to get heat in his tires, and he turned left down the hill, and it spun him right around.
You know, you can knock Corey all you want for that, but I've seen Mark Martin do that before, so it happens to the best of us.
And to Good Leaf Archives' point, that banking, though, yep, that's what caused that one right there. That's the banking.
I don't know if you mentioned the speeds yet, but if you catch a draft down the straightaways, you're going 160 plus at Bristol. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a rush here for the drivers. They just have to keep it in check here. Sun is going down, but the green is coming out. Up front, Gunter already has lost the lead from the outside pole. There goes Harlow to the top spot.
Yeah, that top side is really a great place to be to get the momentum off the... Oh, wow! Contact between Schlosser and Wright. Corey Rutherford right here to pick up the pieces as well. He gets by Schlosser. Rutherford now going underneath of Derek Wright to get to a transfer spot. Awfully close to slide up, and there's contact! Rutherford up into the outside wall.
And he's not going to be able to make it off the track, so we're going to throw the caution. First one proper of the night, not counting the one on the pace lap there. Big move there for Rutherford, unfortunately. Going to end with some pretty hard contact to the wall. And this race can end under caution. We're going to wait to see what Corey's going to do. And we may accelerate this caution period.
Yeah, I don't know. Corey, I think, probably has quite significant damage to that either right front or right rear or both. I mean, close quarters racing here. Gets a spot underneath of Wright, but slides up in front, awfully tight. And then that was netcode contact there between Wright and Rutherford that sent Rutherford up into the wall. It's not going to be terminal damage for Rutherford probably, but it's going to be significant, I think. Down pit road right now, maybe trying to get some of it fixed.
This is the single pit road, Bristol. So no matter where you are pitting, you're going to have to go from the turn 2 entrance all the way to the turn 1 exit. So I can't imagine we're going to be having green flag pit stops tonight, but if we are, going to make things interesting. One other thing we haven't touched on that is unusual for the Daredevil series, at least I don't think we've mentioned it, unless you did while I was completely muted, but we do, as seen there, have a fast repair tonight.
Oh, interesting. I did not even realize that, to be quite honest. So, wow. So fast repair used there for Rutherford.
Just for Bristol, because
it's
things are going to get wild. Yeah, it's Bristol, baby.
I hear you.
Well, I tried to take it to 1 to green. Sim did not like that. So I believe we're on the 2. We should get the 1 this time, which will set us up for a green-white checkered, essentially.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Quite a few watching and hanging out with us. the MF Racing Designs teams in the chat. Kyle Zittle in the chat as well from the luxury box. Got to turn some laps and then head upstairs to watch from the nice air-conditioned luxury box up there.
All right, here they go. Ready for a green-white checkered. Again, this can end under caution. Harlow, Gunter, Wagner, and Wright have the transfers. Schlosser, Claiborne, and Corey Rutherford on the outside looking in. Back on our way. Rutherford underneath of Cody Claiborne. Going to pick up a spot rather quickly. But the white flag is out. Move's got to be made this time.
Yeah, he's got to make up 2 more. Schlosser trying to get to that final transfer position. Got into the wall a little bit, though. Oh, he went underneath. Gets contact with Rutherford. Rutherford.
Well, he tried.
Gets sent again. That was just desperation moves all around. Ross Harlow, race winner of heat number 3.
Harlow, Gunter, Wagner, and Wright are racing in the main event, and that will give us one more heat race to go. Hey, boy, wow, that got really dark there. Or did it skip our 4th heat race? Well, that was not supposed to happen. Okay, so interesting. I love it when iRacing decides to reformat the entire event. Apparently, we're just going to start everybody because it just skips straight to the warm-up. So, all right.
All right. Here we go.
Give me a couple minutes.
Alrighty, folks. Well, Tommy's going to sort things out with the drivers here. Yeah, we were only supposed to start 20 here tonight, and I think there were 23 or 24 racing. That apparently we're going to send everybody to the main event, which Tommy said that he might have done anyway, so it's not the end of the world. Just not what we expected. We expected people to have to race in from the Consi race, I believe. So we'll see how this one shakes out. But we're going to take you on board with some drivers so you can see just how speedy it is here around Bristol. And when something happens in front of you, there is, I mean, pretty much zero time to react to anything. This is Hunter Engrave, who we're on board with at the moment, was the fast qualifier, I believe, and won heat race number 1. It's a little bit of a relief for some of the drivers that weren't going to potentially make it. Racing in that Consi was going to get ugly, I think, which would have been great for us on the TV-wise, but I think the drivers might have been a little frustrated. There goes Ryan, die hard on the wall. Tommy talked earlier about how when you get later on in these runs, you have to manage some heat with the tires. It is going to be nighttime, so it'll help a little bit of managing the tire heat. But you can't just all-out push all the time here in the feature race. You're going to have to kind of pick and choose your spots a little bit. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself turned right into the inside wall. Oh, my goodness, there's an incident. While we're waiting for this thing to start, let me ask you, is a hot dog a sandwich? Or is a hot dog a taco? Or is a hot dog a hot dog? I don't know. You might sway my opinion in the chat. Personally, lately I've been leaning towards a hot dog is a taco, in fact, but there is certainly an argument.
Okay, I don't really know what just happened, but yeah, I think so. Interesting. I set this race to have a maximum of 20 drivers on the starting grid. It took 25 of the 26 that we have in here, but it took Kyle Zittel and didn't take Zach Flaum for some reason. So Zach Flaum, I guess, is just SOL. So guess what? Zach Flaum's going to be in booth 200 for this 100-lap feature today.
Oh, boy.
Bristol Motor Speedway. What's up, partner?
Am. Oh, it's going great besides, like, not getting into the race, but that's all.
Well,
we're here to have some fun.
I've got a bone to pick with iRacing about this whole ordeal. But we'll get into that as this race goes along, because the 5-minute warm-up period is over. 25 drivers, I guess, are going to race here tonight at Bristol, and one of them isn't in the session. Could have had Zach Flaum in there, but whatever. Okay. Anyway, enough sour grapes on my end. It's time to go.
Let's do it.
I've lost my mouse. This is just going from bad to worse. I don't know what's happening anymore. Okay. Here we go. Starting grid looks like this. Hunter Engrave, Brian Deese, Ross Harlow, James Watson on the front 2 rows. Drew White, Brody Gunter on row number 3. Scotty DeMay, Joshua Rutherford on row 4. Matt Wagner and Nicholas Isidro on row number 5. It's Nate Siefker and Derek Wright on row 6. Bruno Miranda and Christopher Kresge. Then on the 7th row, Matt Schlosser, Ryan Dye on row 8. Daryl Klotz and Cody Claiborne on row 9. Paul Ellison, Victor Aldrich on row number 10. Corey Rutherford, Jeff Oakes, Alex Muscarella, and Neil Usher, and Kyle Zittel. I don't think Lusher and Zittel are here, but hello to a very busy man of late, Zach Flaum, one of the league proprietors of the Formula Racing Series, gearing up for a great 10 race schedule over on Raceverse with the Formula Indy Series, which is finally back. It's exciting times for everybody over there. That's our Monday night series. The Formula Super Series was also under your tutelage as well. So welcome to the booth. Hopefully this makes up for it a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for the shout-out for FIS. Looking forward to a great season and kind of piggybacking off of the great success that the Formula Super Series was on Turn 200. So looking forward to it.
Well, Gary is very good, maybe the best that there is in iRacing commentary. So excited for things to come there on Raceverse and FIS. And, we'll definitely be watching, not live because we have other things to do, unfortunately, but excited to take in all the great racing action that we've got. We've got great racing action here tonight as well. 100 laps, the length of the feature tonight. There is a pretty good chance that we're going to have fuel pit stops unless we have a lot of cautions. Not quite. With an 8.5 gallon tank, about 100 laps. Or actually about 90 laps is about what these drivers have in the tank. So a few cautions, they should be good to go. And again, one fast repair.
Yeah, something tells me they're going to need it. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, let's get the show on the road. The Daredevil Series is on the move at Bristol. Engrave with the early lead, some checking up front. Oh. Watson and Gunter made contact there. Ross Harlow as well, single file for the top 4.
Oh, Gunter nearly up into the wall there.
Cold tires heating up here, nervous moments. The drivers all through the field. Is your adrenaline higher here, the middle, or the end of the race, Zach?
Honestly, it's when the pack's all together. Like, this would be highest adrenaline moment, at least for the first 10 laps.
Oh, trouble! Caution is out. Around goes Cody Claiborne, I do believe, up in turn number 4. Oh, it pulls down right in front of Hunter Engrave. Yee. That was close.
Claiborne has lost a wheel. That left rear has been ripped right off. He's going to take his fast repair here.
Yeah, I do actually know. I was just talking to Cody, and he said he had some issues with his forced feedback. So that might have played a part in that spinner there.
So that's caution number 1, comes out on lap number 5. And again, caution laps do count tonight. Neil Lusher asking what time the grid is. The grid is now. You're welcome to come in at any point.
Yeah, it looked like contact with Victor Aldrich, I think, there for Claiborne. Claiborne kind of pulled down the racetrack. Aldrich had already filled the hole. And Claiborne just gets absolutely sent.
Yeah, on my end, it looked like he went to the Nether Realm, which just went black, so...
We have some, how about take her down pit road here, Tommy?
Yeah, it's Brady Gunter. Again, he had contact on the opening lap there with Ross Harlow. Harlow over the radio. My bad. And Gunter said, no, my bad. But either way, Gunter, from 4th, going to drop back.
Wondering if he's going to try and save the fast repair, maybe just a little bit of damage to that. I think it was the left front wheel. Kind of looked a little cockeyed. Might just try to fix it and carry on, potentially.
Yeah, kind of save that fast repair to later in the race when you might actually need it.
Corey Rutherford and James Watson down pit road as well here on the 2nd lap of caution. Scudder getting caught up to the tail of the field. Go around Cody Claiborne, who I'm sure will have an EOL penalty for coming into a closed pit. I'd imagine lights are going off the pace car this time. Engrave has looked pretty strong all night long, put up some great laps in practice. Stormed away with it there in his heat race as well. About the only other driver that's had his pace has been Brian Deese, so thus far anyway. You know what? It said that James Watson and Corey Rutherford came down pit road, but I think maybe they just crossed the entry line, because they sure did not come down pit road.
Looks like Brody Gunter back down pit road again. Still trying to get some of that damage fixed here.
Maybe make sure she's packed full of fuel. Either way, Gunter going to be on the back foot here for this restart coming up. 10 laps will be complete. 10% of the race, at least the scheduled distance. Pace truck is off. Field is under the control of Hunter Engrave, and we're back to green. Single file.
Yeah, you are a long ways away from your competitors. If you're starting at the back of this field, you have a lot of ground to make up with the single file restart.
Darrell Klotz, I think, caught a piece of the wall there out of turn number 4. Still motoring on.
Here comes a big run for Nicholas Asidro, trying to get up to 4th. Take that spot away from Ross Harlow.
And here comes Brian Deese. Looking underneath for the race lead. Wheel to wheel.
Whoa.
Deese wants it. It is close. The birthday boy to P1, but Engrave not done fighting yet. He's back to the inside.
Oh, wow. Nearly locked wheels there between the front two.
And as these two continue to battle away, James Watson in third, closing in. Sliders galore here. That's just short track racing in the Daredevil series. Battles going on all through the top 10 here, but up front, Deese and Engrave throwing bombs here. Does this feel like a fugue state to anybody else?
A little bit.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No.
This is just so hard to explain. This is almost like a little super speedway with these cars. It's so strange.
It really is like pack racing at Daytona in a way, because you're trying to keep your distance between the cars. You're trying to stay tight, not getting the big push going out of the corner. It's a whole thing.
Hey, this has 3 lanes just like Daytona, too.
Yeah. I don't know if I would use all 3 at the same time, but it does have all 3.
We'll see how froggy these drivers are feeling at the end of this one. Lap 22 on the board this time. Deese leading, but here comes Engrave with a peek at least to the inside. James Watson lurking back in the third spot.
And Harlow's pulled right up to Watson as well. Gonna take a look around the outside, trying to get that big run.
Harlow, after some early contact, now going to have to fend off Nicholas Isidro.
Yeah, the top 5 or 6 look like they can kind of ride a lot closer to each other and not have as much effect of the dirty air as some of the guys farther in the back.
And not that there's, a whole big notebook about racing on tracks this short in open wheel racing, but what does dirty air feel like at a place this confined?
I mean, it's just like, oh, you're trying to turn, it doesn't want to. Like, the right front just feels like it's pushing into the ground, and it's just sliding. I actually had an experience like that last night at Michigan. Very different track, but same kind of push. Happen out of anywhere.
Racing in the line on the top of the bowl here at Bristol.
Yeah, these top 6 all very close together. Isidro really flirting with the outside wall, trying to get as much of a run off the top side as possible. Starting to close in again on Harlow.
Drew White and Dakota DeMate are closing in little by little here as well. Just saw Matt Wagner get a bit loose there. Maybe about time to talk about the right rear tire temperature. Maybe starting to get a little in fuego.
Isidro did just get into the wall there and inside turn. Just a little straight, but he definitely scraped it up a little bit.
A little goes a long way here in both directions at Bristol.
It does take precision to ride that outside. There's one little push and you're in the wall and you're going home.
Well, we saw that a lot last night in the Venom Truck Series at Kansas. We're not expecting the Highline to be so dominant, but it took razor-thin margins and precision, like you said, to be able to hang on that wall all night long. Darrell Klotz, is around. The caution is out. There's debris on the track. It disappears, and so does Klotz, towing back to the pits. That'll be the second caution of the night. We've seen what can happen a la Steve Vroman at, I think, Kansas. If the sim thinks that you've run over a loose tire, they would end up with mass casualty events here in the grandstands.
Yeah, somebody would backflip right up into the crowd for sure.
Got a video once from Michael DeTurk from the Dirt Bristol running the 79, and he ended up in the grandstands after that event. So, you can never be too cautious here.
We're going to take a look at the replay here for Klotz. Right around on his own. Might clip the apron. Yeah, kind of. He kind of clips the apron. I'm not sure if that really affected him a whole lot or not, but just got loose there coming out of the corner. And, I mean, Zach, once you get loose here, this car, this track, I mean, there's really almost nothing you can do. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I haven't put really any laps in this car at this track, but just in general with this car, like once you get loose, it's hard to get that yaw back to normal, and it can really take a mind of its own when you get going. Same thing with Bristol, honestly. Like in other cars, in the trucks, if you don't drive it the right way, it can really take your lunch money.
I seem to recall you having a pretty good run here in Truck 200. Am I mistaken on that?
So, I did not have a great run at Bristol. I had a pretty solid run at North
Wilkesboro. That's right.
North Wilkesboro, it would also be quite a bit of fun in these cars, in my opinion. But
no, you got your lunch money taken here. That's right. I do.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have brought that up if I would have actually remembered.
Oh no, that's okay. I got to talk about my podium finish in Truck 200, and that's one of my prized moments on Turn 200. So,
well, you got the other one at Talladega as well with the 4-lane box out with the rest of your team. That's a staple moment here on the channel as well.
That was a great time, and then also in Daredevil, the Chicago race where there was like 8 people left at the end. So.
I think there was less than that, honestly.
I think there were like 5 people that actually had pace, and there were like 3 people that were just trying to finish the race, and so that was my prime moment, I guess.
Yeah, so you ended up on the A highlight reel a couple of times last season, more than once actually. So, that's we've had some interesting goings on here in our brief history as a channel.
Yeah, and that's some of the best things about you guys is the ability to put on such interesting race combinations, have great enthusiasm when you're broadcasting, all that good stuff. So,
well, this is definitely one of the more interesting nights we've ever had.
Yep.
The origins of this race, for anybody that missed it earlier, we had some meme races around this time last year, multi-class races that included the Lotus 79 here at Bristol. We thought, oh, what the hell? It was decent. We'll put some work into the setup and get it ready. And it may not be ready, but we're doing it anyway. So, only time will tell. If we can get a longer green flag run here, we started to see it happen a little bit with some drivers slipping the rear tires as the run went along. We may be in for it if we can get about 25 to 30, maybe 35 laps into a run. We'll start to see a lot of slipping and sliding. Back underway, field under the control of Brian Deese, the newcomer. Looking for a win one day after his birthday and looking to keep the unique winner's streak alive, but Hunter Engrave doesn't want that streak to live on. Engrave, to the point, Watson underneath the Deese.
That was a power move by Engrave there. Power move by Watson.
Oh, boy.
Oh, and hard contact with Schlosser. Oh, I think that might have been Wagner as well.
Getting bounced around like a beach ball at a Nickelback concert down the backstretch here at Bristol. Brian Deese towing back to the pits. Wagner and Schlosser, you called it. Derek Wright also got a piece of that on his way by. So under caution here for the third time.
Yeah, you see Wagner there. No left front wing attached. Same for Schlosser behind him as well.
And again, unlike every other race in series history, you got one faster pair in the bag tonight. But Deese with the tow time, going to more than likely be out of the running for this one unless he can catch some lucky dogs.
And this contact happens with Ross Harlow trying to dive down to the inside where Watson had just made the move. And Harlow just barely clips the left rear tire with his right front. Harlow's able to get through, but Deese gets spun right around. And I talked about it earlier. There is no reaction time here, and there's the contact between Schlosser and then Wright. And then Wagner grabs that piece of it as well.
That just was not much contact at all.
No, hardly any. And I mean, it was so light that, I mean, Harlow's going to get away, I think, probably unscathed in totality. I'm not sure he has really any sort of damage.
And let's call a spade here. I think Derek Wright is dead. I think he died. You just can't take that sort of hit with Deese's wing digging into your upper torso. and expect to be alive still, I don't think. So, but in terms of damage, though, we saw, I think most notably, Wes A. Shire took a shot right to the top of the tub at one track and then went on to technically win the race. But the damage didn't affect him all that much.
How does one technically win a race, Tommy?
Well, he crossed the line first, but when we had an incident limit, he went over the incident limit on the final lap, so he got disqualified. And that's how James Watson won at Charlotte in Season 2. So technically, Wes A. Shire won the race, but statistically, he did not win the race. But also took a lot of damage after I think Trey Mitz landed directly on top of him and was just fine. Was completely fine. So we'll see who is going to take a licking and keep on ticking at Bristol. James Watson at the head of the field. Oh, Joshua Rutherford, all sorts of out of shape there out of turn 2. Going to lose 2, maybe 3, 4 spots. He's getting railroaded here.
Lap traffic's going to be an issue here.
Yes, it is. Oh, boy.
And that was Deese.
Maybe left his faster pair unchecked. Maybe took it already. I'm not sure. But he's going awfully slow.
Side by side between Hunter Engrave and Ross Harlow for second. Wow, that was close.
Deese and Corey Rutherford made contact further back in the pack as Deese is still trying to get up to speed. Oh!
Wow.
Whoa.
The speed that these drivers carry around the turns is just absolute insanity.
162 on corner entry for the race leader, James Watson. 154 on corner exit. Some more contact further back in the pack, but everybody's still pointed forward.
Here's a crossover for Engrave. He's going to complete this pass on Harlow finally. We're working on that one for a while. Harlow up into the wall.
That was hard contact. Gets a 2X out of the deal. That may knock the toe out or something. Definitely want to be avoiding that if at all possible.
Here comes Nate Siefker into the picture as well. I haven't talked about him in the feature all night.
He made a wild pass for what we thought was a transfer spot at the time. Ended up just being a great pass. Half a second for Watson over Engrave. Harlow Isidro DeMade the top 5. And lots of shuffling from DeMade on back. Brody Gunter, remember, he's made a pit stop already. He's back up to 8th. Just got around Derek Wright for the spot.
Yeah, I was going to ask if anyone had taken a pit stop on those last 2 cautions. I didn't know if that would play into some strategy there.
I think the only drivers that did were the drivers that were involved in the accident.
Actually, we had about 2 cautions ago, we had about half the field come down pit road.
Oh, Gunter and Siefker up in a spin. I thought Siefker was coming back up onto the track through the caution there. He does a nice job holding it down on the bottom, but we're going to bunch him back up. That all started with contact between Gunter and Siefker.
And that had been close quarters racing there right in the middle of that top 10.
Those were 2 drivers that were on the march, to say the least.
Yeah, so that's like Nate just got loose there after the bump.
So that's probably our second cautionary caution of the night. Just want to make sure that nobody's going to get exploded if they don't have to be.
Yeah, I mean, Nate, I don't even know. There might have been some netcode contact there with Brody between the left, or excuse me, the right front and the left rear, but really not any real contact. And then, yeah, Zach's right. I mean, Siefker just kind of gets loose on his own there out of the corner. Does make some contact with the wall, but it doesn't look super significant. Go ahead and go on board with Nate. Coming down into turn 1. Yeah, pretty good shot to the right front wheel there. I'm sure that something's not in line.
Well, I can't imagine, since he hasn't been down pit road this race, that he wouldn't still have his fast repair.
But we were just talking about pit stops there. 2 cautions before this one. We had about half the field come down pit road on lap 36. Gunter had been in, Drew White, Ryan Dye, Christopher Kresge, Corey Rutherford, Matt Wagner, Matt Schlosser, Victor Aldrich. Siefker was not down pit road. Daryl Klotz was down pit road, but he was caught up in that incident. But, I mean, that's a good portion of drivers that had come down pit road there.
Well, I know you'd probably like to be in the scrum here, but how does it feel on the other side of the whole ordeal tonight from watching from high above?
I mean, it's a cool experience, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I would have liked to be in it, but I also would have went into the race with no practice whatsoever, so I probably would have already been out by now. But, yeah, I always enjoy getting to talk to you guys up in the booth, and it's a cool experience to work up here for a full feature race. So
yeah, and just for the record, again, I mean, it's ultimately everything that happens here that goes wrong is my fault, but I set up the heat races for 4 heat races where the top 4 drivers transferred, no matter how many drivers we had in the field. And it did 3, transferred 4 out of each, and then skipped the 4th heat, skipped the consi, and said, oh no, we're not going to start 20, we're going to start 25, even though you have 26. And then it doesn't let me pick and choose out of the drivers who are actually here and the ones who aren't, who to start in the feature. So I think for all the things that iRacing is doing right, I think their heat racing UI needs a little fixing. But I'll take the heat for it, because ultimately it's my fault that we're here in the first place. Here we go.
But it's also because of you that we're here in the first place. So,
well, it's Christopher Kresge's fault then.
Yeah, we can just blame it on him.
Exactly. For everything. Watson, Engrave, Harlow. Bit of a breakaway back to Isidro.
Oh, big wreck.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Oh, and they're still wrecking.
That is the big one.
Oh, Brian Deese piles in as well. That's going to be the end of the night for Deese. Tarek Wright has about a third of his car just completely sawn off.
And Deese was 5 down, got the lucky dog last time around, and unfortunately his good night has gone kaboom.
Paul Ellison trying to get his car to pit road without having to tow, but
Ugh.
I don't know if that's going to be possible.
It looks pretty evil.
Yeah, that thing looks like it belongs at Joe's Crab Shack, not at Bristol.
Oh, no, and here's Matt Wagner, who...
Ugh.
I don't even know what was going on there. That was...
Yeah, I respect Derek getting back to the pits with 3 wheels, though. That was pretty impressive.
Well, I think it starts with Ellison and Wright. What happens from there is anybody's guess, but it doesn't end well.
Yeah, here's the replay we're going to look at, and Wright actually goes around on his own, and Ellison just, unfortunately, is going to get taken with him, along with the others involved. But you see Wright here trying to rail the corner, just gets loose, goes straight around. Ellison trying to avoid up top, but he's going to pile in there. And everybody's just in scramble mode at that point. Oh, Siefker was involved in that one a little bit as well. Not sure if there's much damage, but...
Yeah, you're right. I didn't see Siefker. He's all the way at the bottom of the list. He did pick up a 2X, but not a 4, so something. little souvenir to take home. See, that was the kind of crash I was envisioning here when I was thinking about the cons of Bristol on the schedule. Because that just developed so quick from something so innocuous.
I mean, Zach gave props to Derek for getting it down pit road with 3 wheels, but I mean, he also didn't have a third of the car there either on the left side.
No, that's very true. Yeah.
I mean, that thing is. I don't even know what to say.
Well, it's got extra straight line speed now. He was able
Yeah.
to power it up.
Yeah. Less drag and less weight. Obviously,
exactly.
going to go faster. And one thing I will say, Bristol, in a lot of ways, very different from Daytona, but also in the way of there's nowhere to go when something goes wrong. They will cause huge accidents, just like we saw, same as with the Daytona 500 and all these kinds of races. Pack racing and short tracks are full of wrecks waiting to happen like that.
Don Golden hanging out with us, cheering on the Rutherfords. Joshua hanging around the top 10. Corey's had a bit of a rough night, but still anything can happen here. And Christian Jasper in the chat as well. Can't imagine what this is like in the 79. Yeah, it's been a crazy night already, but we're almost to the 3-quarter mark of this race and only half an hour in. So when we get green flag running, it's going to go by quick. And I'm sure James Watson would like it to go by just that much quicker. He's at the front of the field, in control of the start once again. We're back underway. Haven't mentioned much about Bruno Miranda, but he's in P6 right now. He's the points leader. Thought maybe for a second he was going to have to fight his way out of the B main just to even race tonight. But I think he's one that has benefited the most from the format switch up and taken full advantage of it as well.
Hunter Engrave really starting to close in on Watson here.
Yes, indeed. Gonna look out. Zach looks in. Down in the gray there. For a NASCAR 07, he would have spun out making that move.
I mean, that was an aggressive block by Watson to get down in front of Engrave on the bottom. That was nearly disaster.
Watson giving it his all here. Hugging the bottom. Engrave's going to make the move. He might have to make it up top. He keeps looking up towards the middle at least. Maybe at least looking for a run. But now having to block Ross Harlow as well. He's coming with a head of steam. And he's bringing a Seadrone Domain with him. It's a party up front. All of a sudden, here's Harlow. Dive to the inside. Wow, that was a move. Now he's boxed in. Oh, and it's him. Oh, boy. Keep it up, keep it up. Oh, boy. That's close quarters racing there for P2. Oh, Ellison and Corey Rutherford get together after the fact as well. That was an aggressive move there for Ross Harlow down to the bottom. Engrave trying to cross him up. I think just got him there in the right rear or the left rear with the front wing.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to tell if there was actually contact or if it was just getting loose off the corner like we've seen from a few drivers here tonight. There's only one way to find out. Here's a look at the replay. Harlow underneath of Engrave. He gets himself clear. Engrave going for that crossover. Definitely contact there. Engrave just kind of sweeps across that rear wing of Harlow. Gets him loose. Harlow, I mean, we've talked about it tonight. Once you get that sideways, it's nearly impossible to hang on to. But Engrave has been aggressive with those crossover moves all night. Thought that he was going to have the opportunity for one there. Realized the door was closing. Tried to move back up to the top side. We talked about super speedway racing a lot tonight, even though we're at Bristol. And very much like super speedway racing, you don't want to go across the bumper if you're pushing somebody. That's exactly what happened between Engrave and Harlow.
And to be fair, these cars don't have bumpers, so. But Hunter still had his fast repair, so he's back, and he stayed on the lead lap, it looks like. So.
And Harlow, from some earlier contact with Bertie Gunter, I don't think he came down pit road. Gunter did. So I think Ross Harlow should have his as well. Well, I mean, you know most of the drivers in this pretty well, or at least have spent a lot of time on track with a good majority of them. Is there anybody that James Watson doesn't want to see in his mirrors more than Nicholas Isidro right now?
I mean, if I'm being honest, the people that had the best chance are probably the ones that were in that wreck. But I do think Dakota DeMade's got a pretty good shot. He's an oval master. He's won plenty of these races. I think if he's got something to say about it, he'll say about it. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But if he's got a chance, he'll take it. James is good on these ovals too, so I think those two probably will have a battle. Isidro is pretty good on the ovals, so I think the top three are pretty stout right now.
I think Isidro has something that a lot of drivers wish they had, which was very calculated aggression. Almost like a sociopathy, but in a good sim racing way and not the bad kind of way.
Not the clinical way?
Yeah.
You made it sound so good, Tommy.
Yeah. And as a therapist, I can talk on that a little bit. Not really,
well,
but
there you go. Well, I mean,
I'm a therapist, not going to talk about it.
I didn't give you any time to prep for the race, so I can at least let you expound on your career notes a little bit, at least, right?
I mean, I don't know. The race is about to start.
All right, here we go. We're back at it. Watson leading the way.
James got a huge jump there.
Big move further back in the pack. I think that's Drew White trying to make a pass on Gunter, and they're nearly locking wheels there. Oh! That's Gunter in the wall.
Looked like maybe some netcode contact between them. Gunter got shoved right up into the outside wall. And he has big-time damage to that to the right side of the car.
Yeah, huge damage. He is plummeting through the field here. It's still moving.
We need to give credit where credit's due for James Watson. We've seen a lot of passes right after restarts here tonight. I don't think he's had anybody pass him on a restart when he's been out front. So he's done a really great job commanding these restarts better than anybody else tonight.
Well, Zach made the call. Here's Dakota DeMaine looking for a move on Isidro, and Isidro looking to make a move here on Watson as well. Isidro getting better runs out of the turns here, and he's going to move up to the top side.
Yeah, Isidro's doing a great job of turning down the hill just to get a little bit more speed off the corners.
We're inside of 10 laps to go. We do have one attempt at overtime if we need it. These guys are racing hard up front. Oh, and we do have one stopped. Caution is out. There's actually two up there. That's Aldrich and Seifgert. Boy, TWR has been eating its own tail tonight. That's the third or fourth time their drivers have gotten together. But I guess that does kind of tend to happen when you make up 50% of the field.
Yeah, I mean, they also have a lead, like their leader is also leading the race.
Well, yeah.
You win some, you lose some.
So we're going to be knocking on the door of overtime here. We may fall into a natural green-white checkered. This field is waiting for the pace truck to hurry on up. Take a look what happened there.
Yeah, seems to be just another getting loose off the corner. Another self-incident there. It's Seifger. And then Aldrich just really didn't have anywhere to go. And it's interesting that it's not taking very long. Like, usually, even if we have a lot of laps on the tires, I mean, it takes another 10 laps for the heat to really get in the tires and have a problem getting loose. Tonight, it seems like even, having quite a few caution laps really doesn't help them that much. You're just out there and loose right off the bat again.
Ooh, boy. On the dinger scale, I think this is shaping up to be a humdinger.
How high is that on the dinger scale? I'm a little bit
It's
uneducated on it.
It's top of the pops. Can you think of a more consequential dinger?
Almond dinger?
Almond dinger? Hey!
Oh.
There you go.
All right. Well, you've won me over.
As an almond dinger fan, you should have thought of that.
You're absolutely right. Especially since Mike Joy has made that pun at least 6 times. And I do nothing but consume Mike Joy commentary, so I should have known better. You're right. Sometimes you need a swift kick in the rear.
Yeah. Almond dinger just needed better seatbelts, and he might have had an Indy 500. So.
I was there for that. That was my first Indy 500, and I can't even tell you how disappointed I was. Not in the race, because the race was awesome, but yeah, that was disappointing.
I can't. What year was that? Because I've been to most of the Indy 500 since like 2009.
I think that was 13, because it was 2 years, because Frattini won it in 2012, and then he crashed in 2013 to bring out the last caution. If I remember correctly.
Wait, you mean Dario? Frattini?
Yeah. What the hell did I say? Did I say Frattini?
Yeah.
Franchitti, oh my god.
Yeah, I was there. I wasn't there for Frankitti's, but I was there for Ryan Hunter-Reay's. Was that year? Or 2013 was TK, wasn't it?
It was Tony. Yes, it was Tony.
I was there for that one too.
Yep. Dario Frattini is a Porsche Mission R racer.
Yeah. Hey, shout out Porsche Mission R. I know JJ Wang's going for a championship lad this weekend on your Sunday Top Split broadcast, so have to check it out.
I'm sad that we're not broadcasting tomorrow's Top Split race as well, because that could be the championship deciding race. But yeah, big pressure week for JJ this time around at Zandvoort. And a lot of pressure on James Watson, looking for his first win of the season. And it's a green-white checker. 2 to go. Great jump. Miranda with a big block there on Drew White.
Yeah, White had to go down to the apron to save it.
White flag is out. This is it. They are wrecking big time. But it's past the line. We're going to say green. Running a special tribute car tonight for his dad. James Watson is going to take his first victory of the season, and the streak stays alive. Watson, the only driver to win 4 races in 4 seasons of Daredevil Series competition. It does it at Bristol. Big crash there on the last lap. Took out Schlosser, Kresge, both the Rutherfords, Hunter Engrave, and Ross Harlow as well. We'll have to take a peek at that, but first, I think we're going to have a very excited driver up in booth 200 in just a moment's time. Not only because this puts him squarely back in the hunt for a consecutive championship and keeps his win streak alive, winning a race in all 4 seasons, but James Watson really went all out tonight with the special paint scheme, running number 43 instead of 39. I think he wanted to win this one, and he went out there and took it.
Alrighty, folks.
Let's go back and take a look, if we can, at the crash there on the last lap, if you're still able to pull it up.
Should be able to.
It does have some championship implications with Engrave and Harlow being involved.
And I think, I don't don't remember exactly where this starts. Was it between Schlosser and
I think so. Yes. Yep. Those are the first two to pop up for me.
Oh, and it's Kresge. Kresge gets loose just like Nate Siefker did to bring out that last caution. Comes down and clips Matt Schlosser right up into the outside wall, and a bunch of folks are there to be collected. There's Rutherford right there in that bright green car. And there's Corey Rutherford. There's Harlow coming through. Harlow's going to get into Joshua Rutherford as well.
So chaos and calamity here in the final lap at Bristol, but none of it up front, as you might expect. Coming down to the wire here at a short track, it was all James Watson up front, and he will take his fourth career victory, first of the season. The reigning champ looking pretty good here down the stretch. We'll go ahead and roll into the rest of the full finishing rundown here as unfold. Nicholas Cedro and Dakota DeMaid, the other podium finishers. We'll talk to them momentarily. P4 for Bruno Miranda. Drew White going to sneak in for a top 5. Cody Claiborne, after bringing out the first caution, having the right rear tire ripped off, or the left rear tire, he's going to finish 6th. Ryan Dye going to sneak in for a top 10 in 7th. Derek Wright, Hunter Engrave, and Corey Rutherford then the top 10. Ross Harlow and Christopher Kresge going to finish down in 12th. And then I guess technically DNFs for Matt Schlosser and Joshua Rutherford 13th and 14th. Paul Ellison going to finish one down in 15th. Nate Siefker in 16th. Victor Aldrich and Bertie Gunter 17th and 18th. Matt Wagner, Brian Deese, Daryl Klotz, Jeff Oakes, Alex Muscarello, the 23 drivers that took the green flag. And the other drivers did not get an opportunity to start, including our very own Mr. Zach Flaum. Again, very sorry about that, but at least we could spend the evening with you here tonight, and hopefully it was a good time for you. We'll keep you up here for the podium interviews as well, if you like.
Sounds good to me. Honestly, this was better than if I would have raced, so I'm glad to be here, guys.
Well, let's go ahead and bring up your third place finisher. It's always a good night when we can talk to the king himself, Dakota DeMaid, the demigod, the cornfield kid, the season 1 champ, the podium finisher. Welcome back.
Hello, boys. I'm back. It's been a while. Too long.
It's always too long, even if it's just a week. It's great to have you back up here in the booth. Started 7th tonight. I feel like you saw a lot of the goings on as this one unfolded.
I did. I saw a lot in front of me, and I heard a lot behind me. So,
I mean, what was the mindset? Was it just survival? Was there anything more on?
Oh yeah, just survival. I was also looking for the right opportunity to just launch my car into the chain link fence. But all in all, it was difficult to make moves in the pack and up front without body checking someone like a hockey player. So just tried to play it safe, and I just kind of failed upwards. So I'll take it.
Matt, Zach, I'll open the floor for questions, I guess. Whoever wants to go first.
Matt, you go ahead and take this one. I'll ask my follow-up after.
Okay.
That's promising.
Well, it was a good run, Dakota. I mean, this was going to be an interesting task here at hand tonight. I mean, it's one thing to try and practice laps just to make good, fast laps, but a whole nother beast when you put other cars out there. I mean, how was it, with dirty air and trying to navigate around other folks? You made a couple of nice passes there in the heat race and had to kind of go through it all here in the feature as well. I feel like you saw a lot of action.
Dirty air wasn't too bad. I think that was actually kind of the bigger problem, was that you can just be flat out in clean air or dirty air, and that kind of just puts you in a line. And if you try and step out of line, then you're not getting the apex you want and you're losing time. So, yeah, just kind of managing your place and hoping that other cars in front of you wrecked, and they did.
Zach?
Yep. All right, Dakota. What's your go-to Arby's order?
Oh, boy.
I'm always a beef and cheddar guy. Oh gosh. Okay, I love to get a beef and cheddar, and then I'll get one of those chicken tender sliders, and then I'll put the slider in the beef and cheddar.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's about as white trash as when we bought what was it called, the Meat Mountain. Just so you can
I was just about to say, isn't there a secret menu item that's just literally a coronary?
Yeah, no, there's a time at Mid-Ohio where Dakota and I drove to Arby's that was like 10 miles away just so Dakota could get a Meat Mountain.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that was the first time I really had like the meat sweats, and it took me out for like an hour. It was worth it though.
Well, I'm glad we're over the meat sweats. I'm glad we could get you back on the podium. Anybody you want to shout out or say hi to here?
Shout out to Cody, Claiborne, Kresge, Caleb, Zach. They were my crewmates, teammates in voice chat for me this race. And shout out to Alyssa. I know she's watching. And shout out to Sunset Arctic Games. I got 2 games on Steam. You can check out Voltic Pistol and Echo Blade. Should be going on sale here in about 2 weeks. And I got some other stuff in the pipeline too, so check that out soon.
Oh, very exciting. Should have some stuff coming up with us as well here very soon. Well,
Yes.
we'll have to talk about that after the stream goes off. But oh yeah, by the way, Echo Blade, link to that is in the description of this video. So go buy it. That is a demand. But it's great to get to talk to you again here tonight. Go celebrate the P3. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Talk to your runner-up finisher back on the podium here tonight. Nicholas Isidro going to finish runner-up. 10th to 2nd tonight. Nothing to sneeze at. Congrats on another podium.
Right, thank you. It was a night of just avoiding the chaos for the most part, since overtaking was pretty difficult, and I did a pretty good job of avoiding everything.
There were a couple of times there where the top line was open, but seen mixed success with the top line. How did the top line really evolve as this race went along? Was that just not even a viable option towards the end of the race?
It's just difficult to overtake on the top line because you spend so little time in the corners. You just don't get as much of an advantage as you would in, say, like a stock car here running the top line. So it's mostly just a matter of hoping the person in front of you leaves enough room to squeeze past them, which isn't going to happen very much often at the front.
I would imagine not. Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, congrats on a good run. I mean, looked like you were doing a really good job of, trying to get a run down off the hill, kind of starting high and then turning down low off the hill. Do you feel like you might have been able to make a run at James if you had, maybe a little bit of a longer run towards the race when you finally got there towards the front?
Yeah, I think if the last caution hadn't come out, it would have been a very interesting run to the finish between the two of us duking it out. But unfortunately, the caution came out, and by the time that we went green again, there wasn't enough time to do anything with it.
Well, Zach, do you want to ask him what his favorite Arby's order is, or do you have an actual question here?
Hey, that was an actual question, but I did want to ask.
That's true.
I did want to ask, what do you feel like it is about the Lotus 79 that you are really solid in? Because I know I've raced against you and Daredevil quite a bit, and you've always been up at the front. So just wonder what you feel like helps with the car.
It's just a very pure race car. It's a naturally aspirated car. There's still plenty of downforce, plenty of horsepower, and it's very responsive. So which means that it works well pretty much at any type of track, road course, short oval, super speedway. It works fine anywhere.
Well, you were making a lot of noise at the end of Talladega last week as well, so it's good to get to talk to you here tonight, give you your flowers for that, and give you flowers for a runner-up finish once again. Congrats on the podium. Anybody you want to shout out or say hi to?
No one right now, thanks.
All righty. Appreciate the time, as always. Go celebrate. We'll talk to you again here soon.
All right.
And now, it's time to bring up your race winner, the reigning and defending series champion, 4th career victory tonight for James Watson, and a bit of a special night for you as well. Big night here tonight at Bristol. Congrats on bringing it home.
Yeah, this I have to toot my own horn here, but I've been blessed to have some really big and key wins over my time on iRacing, but this one is the biggest and most important one by far. It always felt like storybook moments like this, just never really happened for me. Like there's been a few times where I could have gotten like really meaningful wins with off the track stuff going on, but just could never get the job done. And so to come here right on my dad's birthday with the paint scheme that he ran and he won his championship in, and to get him the win with him watching, it's just so special in ways I can't even begin to describe.
Well, they don't write them any better than that, that's for sure. Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, just a big congratulations. Obviously, a huge night with your dad and the paint scheme, but I mean, also a really great time in the championship as well to get a win. I don't know if you're going to have the points lead, but you're going to be very, very close to Bruno now for that championship fight. And I mean, you said it, storybook. That's kind of what you're writing here to try and go for that second championship. I mean, how you feeling going into the end of the season here?
I mean, kind of. It's hard to say, not entirely sure how Kentucky is gonna go. I feel like that's gonna be a pseudo, kind of like tonight, probably a pseudo pack race in a way where we're all gonna be packed up, but Dirtier is gonna play a little bit since Kentucky is a little flatter, but I don't know. It still could being a pack race for all we know. Willow's gonna be tough because, we're all aware on how incredible Bruno is on the road courses. So, yeah, I unless something catastrophic in my favor happens, I don't think I'm going to be gaining any points on Willow. Though that one's gonna be just as important because, funny enough, the Willow Springs race is my mother's birthday. So yeah, that's gonna be another must win, and then Indy's gonna be a full-on pack race. So it's good to be in the fight going into the last couple races. So I'm definitely not out of it, but there is some it's gonna be a pretty even fight. I'll just put it that way.
That's what we like. Give everybody a fighting chance here. Zach, what do you got?
Yeah, congrats on the win. I did want to kind of get your sense on what your plan was on those restarts, because it seemed like you got a really, really good jump every time, and that was different than how some of the other guys had started, where they would get past going into turn 1 or going into turn 3 on that first lap. So how were you able to create that gap every time?
Well, I was just trying to change up where I was going every time. I knew that, and in fact, in prior races at Bristol, I lost a race, not really changing up where I was going on my restarts, and it cost me. So that was the big thing, is to make sure that I held that reasonable doubt in so that no one can time it. And thankfully, somehow I was able to where as soon as it was go time, I'm literally just slam to the floor. No rolling on it, just full slam, and it just taken off. And that, coupled with doing everything I was doing to heat my tires up, I was able to just full bore from right as soon as I went. No hint of push, no nothing. And that was really key. And I was able to, use that to my advantage at the end, because once I saw how much of a gap I was getting over Cedro in the next last restart, I'm like, if we get a late race restart, I think I got it. And we got that late race restart. I'm like, oh boy, I think I got it.
Yeah, you sure had it there.
Yeah, man. Congrats on the win. I know you got people you want to shout out and thank, but really, this is one of the cooler wins that we've ever had here on the channel. We see a lot of special stories and special paint schemes rolling in and out, but rarely do they end up in victory lane. So a big night for you, and we'll leave you to it here.
Thank you. First and foremost, I gotta thank my dad. You know, he's always been there for me with everything I've done in racing. It hasn't always been easy because I'm not always the fastest, and so I'm not always able to pull out the wins and the championships. And I'm a bit neurotic, so he usually has to deal with me lamenting whatever races and whatever lost opportunities. So I don't know where I would be without him and his support. And so there's not a whole lot I can do for him right now. So to just do this, the little bit is, it means the world. So thank you, Dad. Gotta thank everyone else at Team Watson Racing. Use code Watson39 for 10% off at checkout. Martin Sports, Sim Racing Apparel, National Racing Network, Boomer Button Boxes, ZS Designs, and Dizzy V Designs. Victor Aldridge, the guy behind my teammate here and the guy behind Dizzy V Designs, he put together this paint off of a couple pictures I sent him, and he absolutely knocked it out of the park. So thanks to him for his amazing work and support, and thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast.
Well, thank you, partner. Go celebrate the win, and we'll hopefully talk to you again next week in Kentucky.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Wow, big night for James. That's all very cool to hear. But Bristol. I don't know how many cautions we ended up with. I would imagine it's pretty close to the league record. But honestly, I thought we were going to eviscerate the league record tonight. So even if we set it, we didn't fly past it. So overall, I'm pretty happy with how the night went. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Drivers talked about how it was pretty difficult to pass, but we still saw a lot of passing throughout the field, so I think it worked out quite well, and I think you need to give yourself some more credit where it's due as well. The setup was pretty darn good, all things considered, trying to set this car up for Bristol, so I think you knocked it out of the park. I don't know if you had help, but if you did, you still did a great job. If you didn't, you did even more of a great job. So congrats to you on that. And thank you, everybody, for chatting with us here tonight. Cody Claiborne, Joshua Rutherford, Don Golden, Goodleaf Archives, Christian Jasper. Who else was here? Kyle Zittle, Neil Lusher, DK Racing, the Coffee Man, and Nathan Reynolds. I think that was everybody. Oh, Nate Sleeper as well. Of course, how could I forget? Thank you guys for chatting with us here tonight and tuning in. Hope that you enjoyed this one. This one was pretty wild and pretty spectacular as well. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on down the road.
Yes, I did have help getting this set up across the finish line, so you know who you are in the chat. Thank you very much for your time on that as well. But yes, indeed, tonight was not a complete you-know-what show, so we'll take that. Unfortunately, I think the biggest casualty of the night is Mr. Zach Flaum up here in the booth. I am happy that we got to get you up here in the booth for a race, but sad that it came at the cost of you taming the world's last great Coliseum. So hopefully this made up for it a little bit. If not, I'll send you some money. But appreciated the insight today.
This made up for it plenty. And taming the last great Coliseum, it probably would have tamed me if I'm being honest. So it's all good. Glad I could be here. Glad I could get on the mic with you guys. And thanks for the broadcast and all you guys do for kind of our group of racers.
Yes, indeed. And tentative plans, I think late summer, early fall, maybe to bring the Formula Super Series back. But you got a lot of great racing in between now and then. The Formula Indy Series, if you haven't heard, oh, by the way, it's back. And it's back in a big way. So go seek out the Formula Racing Series Discord to not only join us for FSS when it rolls back around, but to get involved with FIS. That's 10 rounds of great racing with the IR18 and some of, if not the best group of drivers that you're going to come across for any series. So, go check out FIS. It'll be over on Raceverse on Thursday nights? Yep.
Yep. Thursday races start at 9 Eastern, I believe. Practice is open at 8.
March
2 weeks.
14th?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good guess. So yeah, go join FIS if you're not busy on Thursday nights. If you are busy on Thursday nights, you're probably a driver in the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. That is where you'll catch us next. Tomorrow night, they're running at Las Vegas, which is where they had a photo finish last season. But the Oval Refresh has changed some things. But the Max V drivers are still as crazy as ever. So join us tomorrow night for some Truck Series racing action around 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time is when you'll catch us for the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Like Zach alluded to earlier, the Mission Art Challenge Championship will more than likely be decided on our Sunday Top Split broadcast, and it is up for grabs. Multiple drivers have a crack at it, including the defending champion, JJ Wang. How will it turn out? You're going to have to be here on Sunday afternoon to find out. It's live from Zandvoort around 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And that's all the action we got for you until next week's Daredevil race from Legacy Kentucky Motor Speedway, or Kentucky Speedway. I made the same mistake Dakota did when he made our schedule graphic. Just Kentucky Speedway. Next Wednesday nights is where you'll find the Daredevils. To be sure that you're here on time, prim and proper for all of it, be sure to hit subscribe on your way out of the stream tonight. Every little bit helps. We're creeping up on 600 subscribers. Boy, we're only 3 away from it now that I look at it. So that's exciting. Hopefully we'll hit that tomorrow night. But appreciate everybody that was hanging out with us here tonight. Appreciate Zach Flaum for spending some time with us up here in the booth as well. And thanks as always to the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson, and to all the drivers of the Daredevil series for putting up with us the last 3 weeks and 4 races. It has been a heck of a run. We're back to normalcy next week, but appreciate everybody's willingness to experiment these last few weeks. But until we meet again, my name is Tommy Cook. We're saying so long from Bristol Motor Speedway, where James Watson stands tall and throws his hat back in the ring for the Daredevil Championship.